Hello and welcome back to another ASMR video with yours truly, Spider or Zack. We'll be reading another Just So Stories book today. We're actually going to be skipping a story because I read it twice, tried to record it and both times failed. And I also realised that the story is actually kind of bad. I don't know. I confess I didn't like how the alphabet was made. It leads on from the previous story that I read. And it's just impossible to read more than most Kipling stories. So I decided against it. And we're going to be reading The Crab That Played with the Sea. Just because it sounds like a nice, fun story to read. So we need to go to page 140. Sorry if you hear my housemates rummaging around. Hope you're all doing well. Yes, I'm not showing my face for this one. I thought I'd try a different format for doing a reading video. There is a camera right where I'm about to read, but we're going to get to that problem when we do. This is actually very far. We're nearing the end of the book. And here we go. The Crab That Played the Sea. Before the high and far off times, O my best beloved, came the time of the very beginnings. I'm going to put The Crab That Played with the Sea. Before the high and far off times, O best beloved, came the time of the very beginnings. And what was in the days when the eldest magician was getting things ready. First he got the earth ready, then he got the sea ready, then he told all the animals that they would come out and play. And the animals said, O eldest magician, what shall we play at? And he said, I will show you. He took the elephant, all the elephant there was, and said, play at being an elephant. And all the elephant there was played. He took the beaver, all the beaver there was, and said, play at being a beaver. And all the beaver there was played. He took the cow, all the cow there was, and said, play at being a cow. And all the cow there was played. He took the turtle, all the turtle there was, and said, play at being a turtle. And all the turtle there was played. One by one he took all the beasts and birds and fishes and told them what to play at. But towards evening, when people and things grow restless and tired, there came up the man with his own little girl daughter. Yes, with his own best beloved little girl daughter sitting upon his shoulder, and he said, what is this play, eldest magician? And the eldest magician said, O son of Adam, this is the play of the very beginning. But you are too wise for this play. And the man saluted and said, yes, I am too wise for this play, but see that you make all the animals obedient to me." Now, while two were talking together, poor Amma the crab, who was next in the game, scuttled off sideways and stepped into the sea, saying to himself, "I will play my play alone in the deep waters, and I will never be obedient to this son of Adam." Nobody saw him go away except the little daughter girl, where she leaned on the man's shoulder, and the play went on till there was no more animals left without orders, and the eldest magician wiped the fine dust off his hands and walked about the world to see how the animals were playing. He went north, best beloved, and he found all the elephant there was digging up his tusks and stamping with his feet in the nice new clean earth that had been made ready for him. "Come," said all the elephant there was, meaning, "Is this right?" "Paya come," said the eldest magician, meaning, "That is quite right." And he breathed upon the great rocks and lumps of earth that all the elephant there was had thrown up, and they became the great Himalayan mountains, and you can look them out on the map. He went east and found all the cow there was feeding in the field that had been made ready for her, and she licked her tongue round a whole forest at a time, and swallowed it, and sat down and chewed her cud. "Come," said all the cow there was. "Paya, come," said the elephant magician. He breathed upon the bare patch where she had eaten, and upon the place where she had sat down, and one became the great Indian desert, and the other became the desert of the Sahara, and you can look at them out on the map. He went west, and he found all the beaver there was, making a beaver dam across the mouths of broad rivers that had been got ready for him. "Come," said all the beaver there was. "Paya come," said the eldest magician, and he breathed upon upon the fallen trees and the still water, and they became the Everglades in Florida, and you may look them out on the map. Then he went south and found all the turtle there was, scratching with his flippers in the sand that had been got ready for him, and the sand and the rocks whirled through the air and fell far off into the sea. "Come," said all the turtle there was. "Paya come," said the eldest magician, and he breathed upon the sand and the rocks where they had fallen in the sea, and they became the most beautiful islands of Borneo, Celebes, Sumatra, Java, and the rest of the Malay archipelago, and you can look them out on the map. By and by the eldest magician met the man on the banks of the Perak River, and said, "Ho, son of Adam, are all the animals obedient to you?" "Yes," said the man. "Is all the earth obedient to you?" "Yes," said the man. "Is all the sea obedient to you?" "No," said the man. "Once a day and once a night the sea runs up the Perak River and drives the sweet water bank into the forest, so that my house is made wet. Once a day and once a night it runs down the river and draws all the water after it, so there is nothing left but mud, and my canoe is upset. Is that the play you told it to play?" "No," said the eldest magician. "That is a new and a bad play." "Look," said the man, and as he spoke the great sea came up the mouth of the Perak River, driving the river backwards till it overflowed all the dark forests for miles and miles and flooded the man's house. "This is wrong. Launch your canoe and we will find out who is playing with the sea," said the eldest magician. They stepped into the canoe. The little girl daughter came with them, and the man took his kris, a curving wavy dagger with a blade like a flame, and they pushed out on the Perak River. Then the sea began to run back and back, and the canoe was sucked out of the mouth of the Perak River, past Selangor, past Malacca, past Singapore, out and out to the island of Bintang, as though it had been pulled by a string. Then the eldest magician took up and shouted, "Ho! Beasts, birds, and fishes that I took between my hands at the very beginning, and taught the play that you should play. Which one of you is playing with the sea?" We have a lovely picture. This is a picture of Pau Ama the crab running away while the eldest magician was talking to the man and his little girl daughter. The eldest magician is sitting on his magic throne, wrapped up in his magic cloud. The 3 flowers in front of him are the 3 magic flowers. On the top of the hill you can see all the elephant there was, and all the cow there was, and all the turtle there was, going off to play as the eldest magician told them. The cow has a hump because she was all the cow there was, so she had to have all there was for all the cows that were made afterwards. Under the hill there are animals who have been taught the game they were to play. You can see all the tiger there was smiling at all the bones there were, and you can see all the elk there was, and all the parrot there was, and all the bunnies there were on the hill. The other animals are on the other side of the hill, so I haven't drawn them. The little house up on the hill is all the house there was. The eldest magician made it to show the man how to make houses when he wanted to. The snake round that spiky hill is all the snake there was, and he is talking to all the monkey there was, and the monkey is being rude to the snake, and the snake is being rude to the monkey. The man is very busy talking to the eldest magician. The little girl daughter is looking at Pau Ama as he runs away. That humpy thing in the water in front of Pau Ama, he wasn't a common crab in those days. He was a king crab. That is why he looks different. The thing that looks like bricks that the man is standing in is the big maze. When the man has done talking with the eldest magician, he will walk in the big maze because he has to. The mark of the stone under the man's foot is a magic mark, and down underneath I have drawn the 3 magic flowers, all mixed up with the magic cloud. All this picture is big medicine and strong magic. That symbol is getting awfully close. Okay then. Then all the beasts, birds, and fishes said together, "Eldest magician, we play the plays that you taught us to play, we and our children's children, but not one of us plays with the sea." Then the moon rose big and full over the water, and the eldest magician said to the hunchbacked old man who sits in the moon spinning a fishing line with which he hopes one day to catch the world, "Ho, fisher of the moon, are you playing with the sea?" "No," said the fisherman, "I am spinning a line with which I shall some day catch the world, but I do not play with the sea." And he went on spinning his line. Now there is also a rat in the moon, who always bites the old fisherman's line as fast as it is made. And the eldest magician said to him, "Ho, rat of the moon, are you playing with the sea?" And the rat said, "I am too busy biting through the line that this old fisherman is spinning. I do not play with the sea." And he went on biting the line. Then the little girl, daughter, put up her soft brown arms with the beautiful white shell bracelets, and said, "O eldest magician, when my father here talked to you as the very beginning, I leaned upon his shoulder while the beasts were being taught their plays. One beast went away naughtily into the sea before you had taught him his play." And the eldest magician said, "How wise are little children who see and are silent! What was that beast like?" And the little girl daughter said, "He was round and he was flat, and his eyes grew upon stalks, and he walked sideways like this, and he was covered with strong armour upon his back." And the eldest magician said, "How wise are little children who speak truth! Now I know where poor Amma went. Give me the paddle." So he took the paddle, but there was no need to paddle, for the water flowed steadily far past all the islands till they came to the place called Pusat Tasek, the heart of the sea, where the great hollow is that leads down to the heart of the world, and in that hollow grows the wonderful tree. Puljangi, that bears the magic twin nuts. Then the eldest magician slid his arm up to the shoulder through the deep warm water and under the roots of the wonderful tree he touched and brought back of poor Amma the crab. And poor Amma settled down at the touch, and all the sea rose up as water rises in the basin when you put your hand into it. "Ah," said the eldest magician, "now I know who has been playing with the sea." And he called out, "What are you doing, poor Amma?" And poor Amma, deep down below, answered, "Once a day and once a night, I go out to look for my food. Once a day and once a night, I return. Leave me alone." Then the eldest magician said, "Listen, poor Amma. When you go out from your cave, the waters of the sea pour down into Pusat Tasek, and all the beaches of all the islands are left bare with the little fish die. And Raja Moyang Kaban, the king of the elephants, his legs are made muddy when you come back and sit in Pusat Tasek. The waters of the sea rise, and half the little islands are drowned and the man's house is flooded, and Raja Abdullah, the king of the crocodiles, his mouth is filled with the salt water. Then poor Amma, deep down below, laughed and said, I did not know I was so important. Henceforward I will go out 7 times a day, and the waters shall never be still. And the eldest magician said, I cannot make you play the play you weren't meant to play, poor Amma, because you escaped me at the very beginning. But if you are not afraid, come up and we will talk about it. I am not afraid, said poor Amma, and he rose to the top of the sea in the moonlight. There was nobody in the world so big as poor Amma, for he was the king crab of all crabs, not a common crab, but a king crab. One side of his great shell touched the beach at Sarawak. The other touched the beach at Pahang, and he was taller than the smoke of 3 volcanoes. As he rose up through the branches of the wonderful tree, he tore off one of the great twin fruits, the magic double-kerneled nuts that make people young, and the little girl daughter saw it bobbing alongside the canoe, and pulled it in and began to pick out the soft eyes of it with her golden scissors. Now, said the magician, make a magic, Pow Amma, to show that you are really important. Pow Amma rolled his eyes and waved his legs, but he could only stir up the sea, because though he was a king crab, he was nothing more than a crab. And the eldest magician laughed. You are not so important after all, poor Amma, he said. Now let me try. And he made a magic with his left hand, with just the little finger of his left hand, and lo and behold, best beloved, poor Amma's hard blue-green back shell fell off him as a husk falls off a coconut, and poor Amma was left all soft as the little crabs that you sometimes find on the beach, best beloved. Indeed, you are very important, said the eldest magician. Shall I ask the man here to cut you with his kriss? Shall I send the Raja Moyangaban, the king of the elephants, to pierce you with his tusk? Or shall I ask Raja Abdullah, the king of the crocodiles, to bite you? And poor Amma said, I am ashamed. Give me back my hard shell and let me go back to Pusat Tasek, and I will only stir out once a day and once a night to get my food. And the eldest magician said, No, poor Amma, I will not give you back your shell, for you will grow bigger and prouder and stronger, and perhaps you will forget your promise, and you will play with the sea once more. Then poor Amma said, What should I do? I am so big that I can only hide in Pusak Tasek, and if I go anywhere else, all soft as I am now, the sharks and the dogfish will eat me, and I will go to the Pusat Tasek, all soft as I am now. Though I may be safe, I can never stir out to get my food, and so I shall die. Then he waved his legs and laminated. Listen, poor Amma, said the eldest magician. I cannot make you play the play you are meant to play, because you escaped me at the very beginning. But if you choose, I can make every stone, every hole and every bunch of weed in all the seas a safe pusat tasek for you and your children for always. Then Puama said, "That is good, but I do not choose yet. Look, there is that man who talked to you at the very beginning. If he had not taken up your attention, I should not have grown tired of waiting and run away, and all this would have never happened. What will he do for me?" And the man said, "If you choose, I will make a magic so that both the deep water and the dry ground will be a home for you and your children, so that you shall be able to hide both on the land and in the sea." And Paul Amma said, "I do not choose yet. Look, there is that girl who saw me running away at the very beginning. If she had spoken then, the eldest magician would have called me back, and all this would have never happened. What will she do for me?" And the little girl daughter said, "This is a good nut, and I am eating. If you choose, I will make a magic, and I will give you a pair of scissors, very sharp and strong, so that you and your children can eat coconuts like this all day long when you come up from the sea to the land. Or you can dig a pusat tasek for yourself with the